at the Amex for the second time in a week. They've beaten Chelsea. They did it with 13 shots, 5 of them on target. Chelsea didn't have a shot on target in the whole game. They've only had 1 shot on target against Brighton across the 2 games that they've played against each other. And those numbers are reflected in their expected goals. Brighton did it with only 248 successful passes compared to 648 for Chelsea. And only 30% possession, which is by far their lower. Feels as though Fabian Hürzeler has come out the other side. Here he is with Natalie.
Fabian, well done. The team was composed when Chelsea had a lot of the ball at the start of the match, and then wonderful goals and control in the second half. Was it a complete performance tonight?
I wouldn't say complete. I think we suffered a little bit in the first half. I think we started well. We created 1-2 chances, and after we scored the first goal, we get a little bit too passive, especially in the low block. We didn't find the right trigger to go in the high press, and there we suffered a little bit, but we changed it in the second half, and I think we defended overall quite good, and that was the key today.
Yes, defensively, before we speak about the beautiful goals, what was important in the way you guys managed to stop Chelsea again twice in a row?
Compactness, intensity, defending together, have the mindset that always as a team you can defend in the Premier League, and that's something where we have to work on. That's something what has to be our basic things, because if we don't concede a goal, we are always able to score 1 or 2, and that has to get in our mind.
Thomas, go. You see him every day, working, training. Can you explain the goal, especially the touch, because it was quite impressive?
Yeah, sometimes I think you can't explain the things from special players. I think it was a special action from him. He deserved it because he works hard every day. He's fully committed to this club, and I'm really happy for him that he had a special moment today.
With Minte, which aspects of his game have you seen developing since he arrived here? Because even defensively, he was helping Veltman throughout the game, and offensively, his finishing was really top class.
I think he tries to improve in every aspect of the game, and I think that's what we demand from him, especially against the ball, because, like I said, defense stability will always be the key, and that offensive player have to be part of it. If the offensive player are not part of it, then we get in trouble. So he developed there, and of course, when you work hard against the ball, when you commit for the team, then I'm always convinced that you will get the chances in possession, that you will get the chance by transition, and today he used it.
Is it even more pleasing for you as a manager to get the second win against Chelsea after everything you went through with Forest and that tough loss? Because immediately you have that fire of trying to show a response, but today you kept it.
Yeah, but it's not about me. It's always about the club, and I always, and that's what I would always promise. I give the best for the success of the club. I give the best to support my players, and that's what I try to do every day. And in the end, of course, I get judged by the results, but that's the thing I always promise myself, to give everything for the club, to give everything for the players. And in the end, the players are the most important. The players, they need to be convinced of the idea. They need to stick together. They need to show togetherness. Not only the players who are playing, also players who are beside that, and therefore I'm happy for them.
And do you feel that after that 7-0 you really turned a corner?
Again, for me, of course, the 7-0 is still a topic, but what I always say is just the process. It was only one game, and we knew the reason why this happened, and we shouldn't overanalyze it now. We shouldn't overreact on this. Things like that, they happened, and we were sorry for our supporters, very sorry for them, because they deserve more. But the only thing what I can say, that all the staff members, all the players, they work really hard to give the supporters what they deserve.
Yeah, you shouldn't overreact on good or bad performances, but the fans obviously are very excited after tonight's performance. Does it give you more of a confidence thinking about Europe? It can go even to 8th place. So
it's important to, like you said, it's important to not overreact in bad experience, not overreact when you have experience like today, a positive experience, not get too euphoric. It's very important to understand why we get these things, because of hard work, because of hard training. And if we continue working hard, if we push the limits, if we keep the standards, then let's see what happens.
Well done.
Thanks.
Enzo, You looked very frustrated in the touchline throughout the match. What was it about the performance that frustrated you the most?
No, yeah, with this result, the only thing you can, the frustration is about about everything in these kind of games. For sure, also, we feel really sorry also for the people, the fans that they come here. In the moment that we are in the position that we are, 14 games to go now, 14 games to go. Probably we need to do much better than what we have done tonight.
Let's try to break it down a little. Then first offensively, because you spoke a lot about finding solutions and you tried some tweaks, but you had no shots on target for the first time under you. So what went so wrong up front?
No, yeah, I think in terms of control the game or keep the ball, the possession, I think we did that. But I said before the game, when you don't have a real nine, threat in behind, that can be always a threat, you need to find different solution. I think we arrived quite well at the edge of the box, and then from there we struggle in the last third. And yeah, but it's about not only about create chances. I think in general, hopefully can be a turning point, from tonight.
You mentioned turning point. Do you feel more distant to finding the solutions after tonight?
No, I think, as I said, when we play a game like tonight, there are many things that we have to do better. And we are still on time. We have still 13 games to go, many games to go. And fortunately, we are still in a good position. As I said, we need to try to do our best and finish in the best way.
Defensively, Brighton managed to control well the midfield and as well score, of course, 3 wonderful goals. Of course, there's the quality of the players and the goals, but defensively, what was the main issue in defending those moments?
No, yeah, we are in a moment where the feeling is that we can concede easily and we struggle to score. But for different for different reason, because of the injury for sure. But yeah, I think before their first goal, that more or less is half an hour. It's from long ball from the keeper to Mitoma, fantastic goal. For sure, we can do better. And before then the goal, I don't think they had some chance. But yeah, there are many things that we need to do better.
Yeah, different goals. But do you feel like mentally the team hasn't been responding? Because we saw some apathy, especially in the second half.
It's not only mentally. When you play this kind of game, in the moment that we are, in the situation that we are, fourth on the league, winning tonight, you can go 1 point from the third. You can make the gap bigger with the ones in behind, and you perform in the way we perform tonight. There are many things that we have to do better.
Yeah, you've been mentioning this, and after a performance like tonight's, the fans, many fans, wouldn't see much perspective. So how do you start to turn this around? Because you've been trying, but you haven't been getting the results.
Yeah, no, I think we are the last game we play in the Premier League. We won. I think, as I said at the beginning, sorry for the fans. It's not the right, as I can say, the right performance that we can offer, especially in this moment of the season. But now is the moment that we need to stick together, go ahead, and try to finish in the best way.
And with 2 wins in the past 9 Premier League games, do you feel pressured?
I feel pressure always, not only now, but. We are, for sure, tonight performance probably is we can say the worst performance since I arrived. So it's not the best moment, but we are, in any case, we are still fourth and we are still on the race to finish well.
Thank you, Enzo.
Thank you.
Thank you.
He said it was the worst performance since he's arrived. It's certainly his biggest defeat as a manager in England, so at Leicester as well. Was it the worst performance, do you think, that you've seen from Chelsea under Maresca?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was a worrying performance because, like he said, they look like they're going to concede a lot of goals and they look like they're not going to score, which is a terrible combination. And I just thought they looked like a five-a-side team. And he sort of set players out into positions on a training pitch, and it's combinations and patterns, but then they forget about the most important thing, which is keeping the ball out of the back of the net at one end and actually scoring at the other. There was no penetration whatsoever. I never saw players busting their gut to get into the box. Never saw a player making a fast run forward. I never saw even Enzo Fernandez, who's usually fantastic, I think, at getting the ball out of his feet and looking for a pass through. Not even that from him tonight. So no, I didn't see much tonight from Chelsea that I would have, if I didn't see anything from Chelsea that I liked tonight. It was a really poor performance. And look, they're still in a decent position and they can still recover, but they need to get out of this rut quickly, and it's difficult when you haven't got a centre forward and your goalkeepers are pretty naive.
And that's the question about Chelsea, is whether this is a bad performance or a run of bad performances, or whether it's a symptom of something deeper, or of deeper problems for them.
Well, they were overperforming at the start of the season. I always go back to that game when they went to Everton, where I think if they'd beat Everton, they could have gone above Liverpool, and there was talk of them being in the title race. I don't think anyone ever believed that, neither did the manager, and he come out and said that. But you felt they weren't good enough because of the goalkeeper's situation and, you know, the top end of the pitch as well. Did they have a centre forward that could win the league? Have they got centre backs that can win the league? And the answer was no. So they're probably going back to what we thought they would be at the start of the season in terms of competing for a Champions League position. But this project, in terms of going forward and bringing young players in, what you've got to remember is the best players in this project are waiting for the goalkeeper, they're waiting for the centre forward, they're waiting for the centre backs. And I'm talking really about Cole Palmer and maybe the central midfield players who you actually look at and think, you know, they're as good as some of the, you know, players in the Premier League who are playing for top clubs. But this idea that this project's going to take 2 or 3 years, the problem with that is the best players who are in the team now, they won't wait. They're not waiting for that. Cole Palmer's one of the best players in the Premier League. He wasn't at his best today, but you could start to feel, and I could see it on commentary, I think we just saw it there when he was on the bench talking to some of the staff, a frustration starting to build. He's good enough to be competing for the biggest honours in the Premier League and the Champions League. He scored in a European Championship final. So that's something that Chelsea have got to keep at the back of the mind. This idea that, you know, on commentary it got mentioned that it was like we could be talking about 5 or 10 years in the future. That's just ridiculous. It's nonsense. You know,
we said 2 years to qualify for the Champions League. That was the instruction, wasn't it?
Nottingham Forest are third. Chelsea have spent over £1 billion. And this idea, they're out the cup competitions. The European competition's not a European competition for Chelsea. I mean, they can play the second string and then we'll get to the final. So this idea, it's not like they've got lots of games. They're basically playing once a week. So they have to get Champions League. If they don't get Champions League, that'll be a disaster. It will. But the one worry, there's something that I took from this game was not just how poor they were, was the frustration on Cole Palmer. And he won't wait around for this idea that in a couple of years we're going to make the Champions League. I mean, imagine saying that to Cole Palmer. We're going to be a couple of years before we get to the Champions League.
He signed a 9-year deal.
We don't know whether what he's saying publicly is the same as what he's saying privately. He might be saying to the players, he may be just trying to manage external expectations. But as Jamie said, even if it's qualifying for the Champions League, it is about progressing in those competitions as well for the very best players at Chelsea.
Yeah, look, to be honest with you, I get what Jamie's saying. Look, I think his body language in the last few weeks, I didn't like the thing that he did on the pitch after the City game a few weeks ago with Pep Guardiola. I think he's an exceptional player.
That was down to Pep Guardiola, though. What was Cole Palmer supposed to do there?
But my point was he got played.
I know.
So tonight here, they've got Nkunku and Palmer up front, and at the other end of the pitch, there's Hürzeler and Welbeck. I think Chelsea's players, to be fair, pound for pound, should be able to compete at both ends of the... You know, they should be able to do what Hürzeler and Welbeck are doing. We can talk about him being frustrated, but there's a responsibility on the best players in the team to lift the team. And Nkunku and Palmer are excellent players. So are the wide players as well. So for me, I just thought they were really poor tonight. And you've got to take responsibility if you're a top player. And he gets all the plaudits. All the players get the plaudits when they're absolutely the very best. I think Palmer does as well. But this is where his team now need him. They need him to deliver. And Nkunku, to be honest, has been stop-start since he came to Chelsea. It's time now for him to step up. These two are really, really talented players. Go and win your team games. They looked absolutely... I thought they were useless as a pair tonight, being honest with you. I thought both of them dropping...
There have been times when Cole Palmer in particular has done that for
No, absolutely.
Chelsea.
My point is, though, tonight, this is where they need them now. They've won 2 in 9. They've gone through a bad run. They need to get out of this mess. This is where your top players really turn up, and this is where Cole Palmer and Nkunku are up front, talented players. They've got to perform better as a pair on that pitch tonight. It was the most obvious thing in the world tonight before the game. You know, I asked Maresca about it before the game. Are they both going to drop deep? Are they both going to get in each other's way? And it actually started to happen. Surely one of them has to see that they have to run in behind and sacrifice themselves and make some runs.
But Gary, does that not go back to a discussion we've had, the way the modern game is going in that? that instruction, I saw straight away the setup and the formation. That Nkunku was to the right, Cole Palmer was almost in a false 9 position, and that they have these instructions from the manager. That would have come from the manager, but that idea that on the pitch, that like, I've got to do something there, I agree with you, and that's probably something that would have happened in our day, but I think there's an instruction now with the ball. I need you to be there, you do this. I don't think players almost grab the game by the scruff of the neck and think, I've got to do this, I'm going to do that.
Enzo Maresca did say when I asked him the question, he said, I'm expecting the other players to run forward from midfield, from wide areas. We never saw Neto, Sancho, or Madueke when he was on the pitch make one run diagonally behind the strikers. Not once. I didn't see. Look, you may have seen. Right, yeah. I might have gone to the toilet at one point and missed one. And then you've got basically Nkunku and Palmer. I didn't see one forceful run. I didn't see Nkunku or Palmer make one forceful run in behind a Brighton centre-back. They have waltzed through that game tonight, that Brighton defence. They literally just... We could have played centre-back, and I know that's a stupid thing to say. You could literally... They never... As soon as they're running behind you, we're struggling. They didn't run in behind once, any of them. And that's... I can't believe that. I know this fascination of coming to feet, but the Brighton players made runs in behind all night. It's simple. They didn't make a run in behind. That's why they didn't get a chance on goal.
Natalie asked Enzo Maresca if he felt the pressure. He said, I always feel the pressure. There comes a point in every bad run of results for managers where they're asked that question, which is always a worrying point, because the worry is that it continues to go against them. What do you think in terms of Maresca? How much pressure do you think he's under? I think I said in commentary, the natives will be getting very restless. I think Chelsea has been deemed in these last couple of years as a project, and what that means is you're getting better each year. Now, if you look at the league right now, after we're on 25 games now, I think Chelsea have played. Before this game, they were 9 points better off, which is a sizable difference from last season. But I also mentioned in commentary, Pochettino's team last year had an incredible run at the end of the season. I think they lost one of the last 14 games. So that means, I wouldn't say there's pressure, but I'm not in a position watching Chelsea right now where I believe they'll go on a run of only losing one between now and the end of the season. So I think in terms of points totals and numbers that you're going to look at, I don't think there's going to be too much different than what we saw last season, really. And I think that'll be a problem for Maresca. Not in terms of, these people are going to get rid of him, because they obviously moved on. Mauricio Pochettino brought this guy in because I think he wanted a more hands-on approach on the training pitch as a coach, as opposed to maybe a manager. But no, I think there'll be a real disappointment and real worry within the hierarchy at Chelsea if they're not getting Champions League football. They have to. The money they've spent, and it's Chelsea. It's a winning machine for 20 years. It's not. It's not some small team getting better and trying to compete with the big boys. They spent big boy money, and they're a big boy club even before they spent that money.
The pressure should be on the people who are recruiting the players, and to leave. You said it during the second half. To leave out of £1 billion positions like centre forward and goalkeeper so weak is unforgivable. The pressure shouldn't be on the coach at all, in any way, shape or form. You cannot play football very well. It's very difficult to play football without centre forwards and without a goalkeeper that can keep the ball out of the back of the net. That first goal tonight, for how brilliant it was from Matoma, that was a simple save for any top goalkeeper, and Chelsea would have still been 0-0. So for me, I think Maresca gets all this season. I think he's still got a great chance of finishing in Champions League places, and then he gets armed with a centre forward or two and a goalkeeper in the summer that can mean that he can guide this youngish spine, I think, into a position whereby they can really start to challenge for the title. So for me, the pressure should not be on him at all. It should be on the people who've recruited.
But as we said, most managers go through that period of pressure, and it feels as though Fabian Hürzeler has come out the other side. Here he is with Natalie.